Special report Bret Baier, who was in Hanoi, Vietnam for last week's summit. Bret, first of all, welcome home. Second of all, how much was this covered in Vietnamese media and press, and how much of a distraction was Michael Cohen when you were there?
Listen, it was covered obviously by the U.S. networks nonstop, but as far as bleeding into Vietnamese perception and what was going on, there was a lot of focus on the summit. I mean, the South Korea media was all over it. They were really paying attention to every word. They thought that there was a real possibility that could get across the finish line. And the fact that the president says that Cohen contributed to the walk away from this deal, I mean, Michael Cohen didn't offer just Yongbyon nuclear facility. Michael Cohen didn't say no to the big deal at the table between the president and Chairman Kim. So I think that that's a stretch. Obviously, it was covered differently by the U.S. networks, but it still didn't come forward with the substance.
You know, there was a 12-hour difference, and I did note that the very moment that things were kind of getting, in a pitched position for the summit for coverage, much of the nation would have been asleep at that point on the heels of Michael Cohen's testimony.
That's true. I mean, the meat of the summit and the meetings and the back and forth were happening when the U.S. was asleep, mostly. And I just think it's over the top to blame Michael Cohen. I think the coverage of it was less. But the bottom line is that what came to the table and what they didn't agree to was because the two countries couldn't get on the same page on the specifics. I think that Kim Jong-un overestimated his ability to woo over Donald Trump.
The charm offensive.
And the charm offensive the other way probably was underestimating the ability of them to come with the big deal to make something big happen.
I know the president originally gave a different explanation. We have a little bit of that, and then I'll come back to you. Let's watch.
They wanted to denuke certain areas, and I wanted everything. And the sanctions are there, and I didn't want to give up the sanctions unless we had a real program. And they're not ready for that, and I understand that fully. I really do. I mean, they spent a lot of time building it.
And, you know, Bret, even Democrats gave the president a position of strength to come and say, I'm not going to sign a bad deal. I'm going to walk away from that, do the walk as he has always said that he would.
I think that that's closer to reality, perhaps, than the tweet, which may have been just kind of adding to a piece of a tweet. I think that John Bolton's explanation over the weekend, the National Security Advisor, about the behind the scenes and passing a piece of paper saying you need to take the big deal, and Kim essentially walking from that. I think that those are all accurate portrayals. I do think that this is different than any other diplomatic situation in that Kim Jong-un is the decision maker. There is no pre-State Department lay it all out so that they can pull a magic rabbit out of a hat. It is basically the two leaders trying to get this done, and it was not to be this time, and we'll see if it happens again.
You know, you and I have talked about that hardliner cabal that he goes back to, though, and the name of the game for Kim Jong-un has to be staying alive, because they tend to off the people that don't make the kind of deals that they want. The guy does show up in a train with no windows. I'll give you a last thought.
Well, I think that the South Koreans think that there is optimism here, that they believe that they're really close, and that perhaps Kim kind of overestimated his ability to get something else done. I wouldn't be surprised if another set of talks pops up, just listening to both sides, and that this isn't over. This was not a success, though.
All right. Bret Baier, great to see you. Special report, 6 p.m. Eastern will be the next time we can view you. Thank you.
We'll see you, Harris.
2 young sisters have been found alive following 2 days